Hello everyone, and it's Press here, Precellence, back with another Warzone gameplay. No, I'm joking guys, it's SeReNiiTYzZ here, just trying to fill up to the boots of Precellence right here, and showing a bit of solidarity and good feels towards my friends SeReNiiTYzZ and Precellence, because they do a lot of these Warzone gameplays. And I've got one today against Press's boy, Our Protagonist. I know that he's good friends with him, and Our Protagonist, the famous individual who's put in 130 days into Warzone. That's him right there, and likes to exploit things on Stormbreak when it was possible to try and default a win. So yeah, this is a matchup against him here, and his alpha male something or other, both in the Spartan Company Adamant. The PUFZ was also with them, this Gus kid was also with them, so it's possibly a team of 4 or 5. I was just running with my boy Iceblaster69, the known destroyer of the ice biteful species. He's with me in this gameplay, and we just tear up Protagonist and his little team. Barely saw Protagonist in this gameplay, but when I did see him, I killed him. He only killed me once, I killed him twice in this game. The reason I didn't see him that much is because he was always going after bosses, but even with that, they couldn't pull the W. I would have thought an individual of his experience and his teammates here, his 130 days that he's ploughed into Warzone, would triumph over my mere 16 days I've put into Warzone. So I was kind of thinking that, it's a foregone conclusion, like Protagonist is going to win. But this is SeReNiiTYzZ here with the victory against Press's boy, and I hope that Precellence, SeReNiiTYzZ a bestie, and all you other guys enjoy this gameplay. And I hope that Iceblaster69, my partner in crime, enjoy it as well. So enjoy, guys. So I'm going to try and commentate on this one. So obviously going up against our protagonist like Iceblaster69, a known, recognises the occasional Warzone sweat very often, and how to combat those. He's got a lot of first-hand experience against Ice Spike, where he's like, our protagonist, it's going to be a little bit sweaty. I'm like, okay man, okay, we'll sort this out. So I decided to, I haven't played Warzone for a while, but I decided to put those try-hard glasses on and sort this out and get the W. So at the start, like usually when Iceblaster69 I play this map, we usually go colony to just get a few kills, get our rec energy up. But at this point I thought it was just a better idea to position myself over Fortress, because we really need that against Protagonist and his band of adamant fellows, and we need Achilles, etc. So I just thought it would be better to position myself somewhere out front of Fortress to stop them coming in, and just rain down fire on them as they try to approach the Fortress. I didn't want to clean up the AI too much in the beginning inside the Fortress, because I'm on my own and I could do all that work for nothing, and then a bunch of their teammates come and kill me and start capping the Fortress. So that's why I was taking this strategy, and I feel a bit happier now, because as you can see on my head under display, I've got a lot of teammates inside the Fortress, that are going to help me out. So that's exactly what I was thinking at this time in the gameplay. They're using Warthogs here to try and delay the capture on the Fortress. That's Protagonist and his friend Gus, I think, in that one, and they splattered our boss, which, I'll be honest with you, I'm not too familiar with all the 25 bosses. I know people like Press and all of that are very good at, knowing all the bosses that come up on the map. I only know a handful of them, like the soldier that you can assassinate, and some of the big bosses, like the mech boss on this one. I don't really remember all of the 25, so I'm not going to go for them in this gameplay. That's not my strong suit. When I play Warzone, I just like to slay and keep people out of bases. That's sort of like my responsibility. But I do manage to get the mech boss in this gameplay. I was quite proud of that. I stole it off Protagonist, so that was a big win for us, because that was like 100 points later on the gameplay. At that point there, really nice way to start off with a killing spree. I'm sure that, Press and my friend SeReNiiTYzZ will be proud of that against their boy Protagonist. So, it's good to be able to stay alive for that amount of time, and as you can see, it's looking good for our team, because we have a lot of bodies inside the Fortress there, so it's very likely that we're going to cap it. You can see there's a Warthog here. Hopefully if he doesn't get jacked, it should be all good. And yeah, just looking to clear up the remaining people in the Fortress. See a guy there, managed to finish off, and this guy's going to be the last enemy inside the Fortress, and I'm going to start capping him. Nice bit of lag here as this guy like morphs to the other side of the screen, but you know, Halo 5 things, expanded connection things. So, I can't remember, it may have been balanced, I don't remember, not that it makes much of a difference, but at this point here guys, just getting myself a little battle rifle, gotta get those rifles out, establish more dominance, and just looking to maintain the fortress at the moment as we, you know, pace our way to the, I think it's the 6-minute boss, is it, for the soldier, that you can backsmack or assassinate, so just paving the way for that really, and you know, looking to do what I can and build up some wreck energy by killing people and yeah, just defending the bases at this point. Not much to sort of add on that front. Expert analysis from SeReNiiTYzZ that I have for Warzone guidance, but at this point here, more 25 bosses. I can see that the armory is being capped here, so I'm going to go back for it. They're quite determined to try and get our armory off us in this gameplay to obviously bring in some points for themselves, so I realise that we have to watch that back cap, as you call it, like all the time, because they would definitely try and go for that. Another killing spree there on my second life, so you know, 10 kills for 2 deaths is quite an impressive stat early on. It's a nice bit of play. It's only early on in the game and I've got, you know, pretty much most of the kills, so that's a nice bit of play. And at this point here I see my teammates all over the armory, so I'm going to help out, but by the time I get there they've died unfortunately, so that's just a bit of bad luck there. About to do some nice crazy magic here, get a triple kill in the base, but you'll like this triple that I get here, it's quite a nice one. Throw a few SeReNiiTYzZ nades into the vicinity, get a couple of guys weak here, and the third guy, oh, he's behind me, oh, watch out son, over your head, ninja triple, there we go. SeReNiiTYzZ completely in charge of our protagonist and his boys right here. Ninja triple onto him under pressure. Yeah, you got to give it a like for that, guys. Come on, you know, you don't see many of them in normal Warzone gameplay. But nice little reversal as well, considering he hit me first. But yeah, there we go. So that's a nice bit of play, and just looking to add on to that threat here in the armory, just looking to keep him weak, keep the our protagonist and his species back in there, just, you know, keep them inside their armory. A bit like the ice spiteful pet in position, you got to sort of, you know, tame your beasts and make sure that they're well caged. At this point here, one of the beasts gets out a bit too far, and I had to get a bit more resilience on that one. Unfortunately, I'm going to be taken out as the 600, the 6-minute boss, which is worth 100 points, has come up. And my friend Iceblaster69 is in charge of that situation, and he's very on point. But our protagonist uses an SMG camo, gets in front of my friend Iceblaster and steals the boss. So my buddy Iceblaster69 gets the assassination on our protagonist instead. Not exactly what we wanted, but just proving how nerdy his strats are for, you know, 130 days worth of Warzone play. And I just said to Ice, look, chill man. They may have got that boss, but we're going to make this points up. They're not going to win. We can't allow Press's boy, our protagonist, who, you know, uses exploits on Stormbreak when he feels like it to try and win. We can't let this guy, this cheating scum, you know, win against us. And, you know, I've only spent 16 days in Warzone. There's no way I can lose to someone who's spent 130 days in this playlist. There's just no way. To make doubly sure that I don't lose to this kid who spent 130 days in Warzone, I gotta go back and protect my armory. But as I try to do that, I get cleared up as I go across, and unfortunately can't get to the armory. So I have to rely on my teammates that they might, you know, contest it for a bit until I return. You know, as you can rely on Randy's or not, but as you can see, I've got a teammate here for support, and we managed to clear up the armory, so it's a nice bit of play from whoever killed that our protagonist comrade there in our armory. At this point here I see someone in the colony, so I'm throwing a few grenades at a Spartan laser. The second one catches him and I take him out. There's a nice nade shot kill. At this point just looking to push towards their armory, but I can't believe they're already behind us again. As you can see, Ice Blaster there with motions to, you know, get a few kills in colony, but honestly don't know how they got behind us again, because I literally just left the base, so it must have been all hiding at the back or something at the back of our base. So at this point here again, a teammate clears up our protagonist flanker, so we're all good again, and just making sure that it really is clear before I leave. But you know, mostly at this point in the game, because they just got the last 100-point boss, we have to get all the other bosses that we can as we make our way towards the end of the game, and also defend the 2 bases that we have, which defending this armory is becoming a bit of a chore, because every time I leave it, there's always someone new that comes inside, so I have to go back and make sure that's really secure. And I think at this point in the gameplay, that's where I get like less amount of kills, because obviously I have to keep going back to the armory every 5-10 seconds, so I can't really make any pushes on their main base where they're all going to be spawning. So it's a bit unfortunate. At this point here, just get a nice kill on that guy who's weak outside the fortress. It's a nice bit of play. And just looking around for more people to shoot. This guy I don't even see, so he's going to clear me up right there. I do manage to get a couple of shots on for a teammate to clear up. But at this point, still looking good for the most part. I think when they were on the armory again, I think they've tried to, they've capped our armory. So I was in fortress at that time, so it would have been too late for me to go back. At this point, some teammates try to cap it back, which is nice. By the time I've got there, they've already started to cap, so it's very likely that we'll take this back. Now I'm back here, and I'm in command of the situation. But at this point here, I'm just looking for any people who are looking to desperate the armory. A lot of player leaves in this gameplay, so my POV switches a lot of the time. Right here we see our friend Our Protagonist press his boy with a fresh overshield, trying to keep this armory, and look at that as he tries to push in. It gets completely wrecked, and teammate helps me to clear him up every time there. But as you can see, Warzone Kid doesn't know how to use the power up and gets absolutely annihilated there as he tries to keep that armory that they had. So nice bit of play to shut down Our Protagonist and his fresh OB. He's going to be out of wreck energy now. He's going to have to kill every boss on the map to try and get it back. So at this point here, guys, the armory is being capped again, so I'm going back to try and stop it, obviously. And just waiting for more teammate support, because I don't know what weapon this guy has. That's also something you have to be a bit careful of in Warzone when you arrive at a contested base, or one that's like half capped and you're like the only player, because it's all on you. So if you lose that 1v1, like, you're going to lose to your team that base. And obviously I'm a bit skeptical to push someone when I don't know what weapon they have. They could, in Warzone, they could have so many different weapons. I could a whiplash. I honestly didn't know what he had, so I made the right play there to wait a little bit before I actually pressed in on him. But I got some intel from Iceblaster on where he was, and then I just killed him. At this point here, I do a really nice approach for that 25 boss. Our Protagonist, his main focus when he plays seems to be those bosses, and cheating on Stormbreak to try and annoy Precellence. So those are his main goals and objectives. So I was sort of bearing that in mind in this gameplay and making sure that I could pinch the, whatever bosses I could if I was in the area. So at this point here, really nice kill on that guy with the blood of Susan. Unfortunately, I couldn't grab it because there was a load of people around, and I was looking to just hide for a bit and then maybe try and go for it. So unfortunately, I can't get that on that occasion, and I think at this point I'm calling a wreck in or something. That's why it's taking so long to put me back onto my POV. Possibly changing an armor mod, I don't know. At this point here, I see the armory's under attack, so go to try and sort it out, try and stop them from capping our armory, obviously. And I think I'm not successful here because of the noob combo. I think that might have been Protagonist, actually. Can't see on the kill feed. That was the one time he killed me in the game. He only killed me once. I kill him twice in this gameplay of when I see him. But yeah, at that point there, he's got the pro pipe or something, so it's a little bit of a ordeal to sort of get him out of the base, but eventually we do, and there we go, reset armory. So at this point again, guys, doing the same kind of push. Quite often in this game, actually, I had to keep pulling back because I really wanted to make sure that we didn't lose our armory. Fortress is pretty well guarded, and I have been in some games, crazy games, random teammates in Warzone at times where the Fortress has changed hands on Sanctum, but honestly, like, it should never normally happen considering how well guarded Fortress is, but I have been in a couple of games where it has occurred, so I do check time, but I don't have to worry about it as much because it's very hard to take, assuming you've not got retarded teammates. But so at this point here, guys, it's trying to make sure to press him and keep him back with a few free nades. does some nice plays to actually get from me. I don't actually see him again for quite some time. They just magically appear to me. Managed to get some help from Ice to take him out there, but unfortunately I do get cleared up. So at this point, just keeping the defense. You can see that the 100-point mech boss is up, so Protagonist is going to try and go for that. I did actually watch his POV. I don't know if you saw that then, but there was a Spartan laser that came from their armory, and that's actually Our Protagonist, and up there waiting for the boss to get weak so you can pinch it. At this point I've got SeReNiiTYzZ Lance, and I just wait for the perfect time to get the finishing off shot on him, and do get Veratus. And it was so brilliant that I did actually call the SeReNiiTYzZ and make that play that I did, because literally a millisecond after, I think Our Protagonist, I watched his POV back from this game, he was charging up his laser to get it, so I really had to make that play with SeReNiiTYzZ to get us those 100 points to be that cushion, because they did get the soldier earlier on in the game, so due to the sneakiness of Our Protagonist, so I just had to make sure that the cheating scum didn't get the boss. So at this point here, guys, just making some nice plays to have got that boss in good stead to carry on with the rest of this game right now. With the SeReNiiTYzZ here, I'm going to try and just put as much fire as I can on their extended vehicles, because the less vehicular gameplay the better for me as far as I'm concerned. I'm not really one to use vehicles apart from like tanks, and I'm not really an aerial fan, so if I'll take any of them out that I can, I will, because I try to keep it to gun skill in Warzone against the people I'm playing, and that tends to favour me a lot better. So definitely having the SeReNiiTYzZ here is going to be useful to suppress any like Banshee Ultras that I might see. Although I'm really happy with the new settings they put into Warzone. It seems like your rec energy, it takes longer for it to grow now in games, which is really nice, because I remember playing with my boy Ice, and like we were playing twos like quite often, and every time halfway through, not even that, but like 4 minutes into the game, we're already seeing like a wasp, or we're already seeing like a banshee or something. So it's nice to see that they've sort of nerfed those energy now, because the less vehicles the better as far as I'm concerned. So at this point here, guys, just still looking to use the SeReNiiTYzZ, still trying to use to whatever effect I can really to get any particular kills. And I think I do spot a good opportunity to get some. Unfortunately I was a bit slow to react to it. This random Warthog is going to drive to our armory in a minute, and I just really wasn't ready for it. As you can see there, a little bit slow to whip. I should have just whipped out the SeReNiiTYzZ straight away as soon as I saw it, but just wasn't thinking for a minute. That's Protagonist and one of his boys. You can see Protagonist here. I do manage to clip him with the SeReNiiTYzZ. The POV changes as well. I do end up dying because his teammates kills me with Banshee, but I did get the kill on him, because once I got him weak, he fell into the base, and the Marines killed him. So that was a nice bit of play that the Marines were assist me in my time of need. And at this point here, guys, just really biding my time for the rec energy to come in, and SeReNiiTYzZ is going to add a bit more pressure to the cooking procedure of a Protagonist, and put up the boiling point a little bit, but hopefully soon we'll get the rec 8 energy and be all up in this grill in their base. But at this point here, just looking for someone that I thought was around the armory, so just looking to see if this person's going to push in the armory. So they've been very determined on it throughout the whole game. See a guy here and put some shots down to get an assist for a teammate, and just happened at that one point in time, Protagonist's teammate Alpha Male from Adamant as well happens to come over in one of those annoying little banshee things and blows us both up, so that's annoying. But on my sort of death cam here, I can see a few red boys over in the vicinity by the side right. This is it, blaze camo on their base, no mercy, this is it. And Ice at the moment is already over there with my boy Ice with a Prophet's Bane, so I'm going to join up with him and destroy their armory, quite frankly. So this is going to be a bit of a destruction cooking procedure of their armory right here, so I hope you guys enjoy. And I'm going to take their armory pretty easily here with two OP weapons, and Ice and SeReNiiTYzZ on this grill, but it's a nice little double there. Someone leaves, so I put my POV back on. At this point, just waiting more for our protagonist and friends to approach, help out the blaze and camo, and just finish them off. So at this point here, guys, just still finishing off the armory, just making sure that we are getting this. And at this point, someone contests on the roof. I just want to take my time here because I don't want to sort of get naded and reveal my position, so just taking my time. And I found the little Our Protagonist hider and managed to take him up there every single time. This guy jumps on, but it's too late as I finish him off. It's alpha male, and he got wrecked. And now we have control. We did have the triple cap, but they've come on the procedure for the back cap. So at this point here, I'm going to go back to my blaze. The 200-point boss comes up now, so I've got to be a little bit careful about how I push through colony and make sure that I don't die. But take quite a nice route here and don't really get spotted, and still with a little bit of camo to get away there, so that's nice as I approach this armory. I have a bit of a sort of silly moment here, just pushing in straight away. It's been a while since I've played Warzone. I completely forgot about the Marines for a brief moment, so I was like, right, I'm out, I'm getting a power up before I go back there. So so at this point I'm going back for another camo because I can use the blaze to the full effect, so I'm going to grab that now in our fortress base and just, you know, apply more pressure on the grill, you know, cook for 10 minutes, and then eventually we'll have this W in the bag against our protagonist. And as you can see, the camo comes out, and I can see here I put a bit of faith in my teammates, not too much because they are randoms after all, but I can see they've pretty much got that capped, although they just stop for a brief time, but they start again. So I think, you know, there's 6 or 7 teammates there. Bad as they might be, assuming Ice is not there. Ice is a legend, but you know, I think they've got that covered. So I'm going to go to the other one because that will be their last line of defense, as they're going to be spawning at their home base when they can't spawn at their armory that they've capped on our side of the map. So at this point here, I know that they're going to sort of rush towards the other one and get a nice triple kill off the people that were spawning at their core site. And there you go, the triple cap is in effect. So now we've got free control, and I can push in on their core and play around with them, and you know, apply some pressure to the grill, and you know, cook our protagonist for 5 minutes, and he's well done. And that's going to be another L for him out of his 130 days played. So at this point here, I find our protagonist and I apply the slow cooker onto him there for the killing frenzy. And you see Gus here, he's called me out in the tunnel, but Gus chokes with his bayonet and I get him as well. So, and I know that him and Gus were together because Gus was like his driver throughout the game, transporting our protagonist to all the bosses. You know, he's so apt on those bosses, and that's all that matters in Warzone. That's all that matters to get you a win. So, you know, that's all he has to do, not slay at all, but just go for every little 25-point boss. Maybe that's what he's trying to say. Maybe he can't kill players. Maybe that's why he has to go for AI, because he has such a hard time of actually killing people, you know, in a 1v1 fight, that he actually just feels more comfortable targeting the AIs. So I can understand that from Protagonist. That makes sense. You know, and you know, definitely with the skills he demonstrated in this game, I think he should keep doing what he's doing. And that's taking L's. That's spending 130 days in Warzone with a 64% win rate. I think that's what he should carry on doing. That's where he belongs. But as you can see, he's in the relegation zone here, and he's about to lose this game. There's no way they're getting that 200-point boss. Although I have had teammates in the past who would still shoot at it, even pretty much have closed this one out. But yeah, luckily our teammates weren't doing that in this game. They were actually determined to try and stat on them in the core room, which is what we were hoping for, really. We don't obviously need to go for that boss at all. We can just hold out and the win will be ours. So we just have to stop them from escaping from their petting position here in the zoo. We just have to stop our protagonist. But one of our randoms, you know, is kind enough to donate them an Ultra Banshee, which, you know, obviously is never very good, so I'm staying away from that side of the core. And at this point here, just looking to apply some pressure and, you know, just put a bit more pressure on the boiling point here, trying to, you know, finish off the core, cook it up, but unfortunately it doesn't quite happen there, and I'm going to be taken out. And at this point I don't notice the scoreline, and I think I caught a sniper rifle because I wanted to pop some heads, but I look at the timer and it's like, oh, it's too late. I've gone past the cooking point, and now the, you know, our protagonist is well done and burnt, so there's not much else I can do there. So that's the end of the game. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this Warzone Sweaty 2s. I was playing with solely my boy Iceblaster69, who had a hell of a game. 60 kills there, SeReNiiTYzZ 41. Possibly could have had more if I didn't have to keep going back to our armory and stopping that back cap with, you know, default weapons. But there it is, Our Protagonist. Well done, cooked up, 130 days played. Incredible. This was SeReNiiTYzZ, guys, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.